still you could be a modern couple and you can get the kids off to school. And that is what Craig wants. And there's definitely lots of women out there in his area where he lives that want that. And I think he'll just meet someone and it's just easy. When you're an adult, relationships should just be easy. And I do think that Craig will look back and be like, thank God we broke up in the sense that this is so easy and this is what I want. And in another life, it is sad. In another lifetime, him and Paige were probably so well suited for each other. But I personally understand why she can't leave New York and her family's here and her career. I get it. So it is sad. I think it's for the best. I'm not shocked. And I think it's all good. There's no drama, as she said. Uh, Moving on. God, I always put off Vicki, but all right, let's discuss Vicki really quickly, and then I want to get into Dorit. But Vicki, I don't know if you know this. Vicki reacted to the Tamra Shannon picture where they all went out for the holidays, and there's one picture, and everyone was there except Pedantry and Katie. And that Shannon and Tamra were hugging each other. Vicki commented on the picture and said, sorry, I couldn't make it. Tamra, the rat, that Scuddies. Just because we're on the verge of New Year's and in the new year don't mean that the rat still don't scurry. She's getting 3 pieces of cheese, 3 pieces of Gouda. She's behaving so far this year. Not really, but pretty much. And she said, sorry, I couldn't make it on the picture. The rat that scurries, that is the Tamra. She said, well, Vicki wasn't invited. Now, I have to say, before Vicki's comment, saying sorry I wasn't invited, you could read into that 2 ways. Like, no, excuse me. Sorry I couldn't make it is what she said. Sorry I couldn't make it is what she commented on the picture. Tamara said, you weren't even invited, bitch, basically. But I think sorry I couldn't make it could be read 2 ways. It could be like, sorry I couldn't make it, like I was invited and sorry I couldn't make it. Or it could be like, sorry I couldn't make it, meaning like, where's my fucking invite? It's lost in the mail. She could have meant it sarcastically, like, sorry I couldn't make it, like almost acknowledging that you weren't invited. Get it? I could have read that both ways. But anyway, Tamara jumped right on it and said, girl, you weren't invited. Vicki said that the picture confused her and that she was loosely invited. She says she was loosely invited. I don't know what loosely is. Like, hey, we all have a plan and like, if you really want to come, you could, but you're not really invited. But she said that she wasn't going to go because she will not go if Tamara is going. By the way, just a word to Vicki and everyone else. If you're, what is that saying? If you're not invited, don't go. If you're not told, don't ask. So if you're not invited, don't go. If you're not told, don't ask. And they say late invites decline. You were never part of the plan. Now, I personally agree with not invited, don't go. If you don't invite me, I'm not coming. I don't give a shit. Not told, don't ask. Love that one. I personally don't. So I live by the first two. I don't really have a problem with the third one. I really kind of like a last minute invite. I almost don't like a plan in advance. Like, if you want to know what I want to do in 4 days for dinner, and am I free? Oh man, I don't know. I might be tired. I might have a bad day at work. Something might explode. Something else might happen. I don't know. So I kind of like late invites, but they also say late invite, decline. You were never part of the plan. But I love the other two. Not invited, don't go, and not told, don't ask. So I don't know what loosely invited means for Victoria. I really don't. But she says she wasn't going to go anyway. And she says she called Shannon right away and she said to Shannon, what's going on here? Like, are you a real friend to me? And she then said that she told Shannon, the only reason I'm not speaking to Tamara is because of how she treated you. I defended you. So Vicki, see, this is the problem that I have with Vicki. It's the same problem I always have. She's out of touch with reality. So she is now calling Shannon. She's not self-aware. She's calling Shannon and she's saying, the only reason I don't speak to Tamara is because of you, Shannon. Well, that's not exactly true. I mean, you also did trash her relationship with her daughter, Sydney. And I mean, she also then threw back in your face recently, a few weeks, months ago, that, Brooks faked cancer and you just sat around with Brooks. I mean, you guys have gone low. Okay. You guys have gone low. So it's not exactly the only reason why you're not speaking to Tamara. You also hate Tamara. And I truly believe when we had Psychic Robin on, we're still having the psychics on. Anyone that loves have our psychics, they will be back. Anyone that's not really a fan of the psychics, too bad. They're coming back. Why? Because my name is on the door, and that's the executive decision that's been made. I love them. So you're a little out of touch here, Vicky. That's not the only reason, and I don't like when people get out of touch. And you're not holier than thou. But she says that she was very bothered. Now she says Shannon said, "Well, she hugged me, I didn't hug her." And Vicky also said that she said to Shannon, "I understand. Do what you have to for the show. You don't want to lose your job. Blah blah blah." And so Shannon's basically like, I hugged her because she hugged me, and I just stood there and I'll basically do what I have to for work. Here's the thing, it's kind of like my night out with PK. And just in general, people tell me so many things. See, the thing is, you want to know everything, right? Because I want to know everything. So then I could reveal little nuggets here for everybody, right? Because, like, there are things we can talk about, right? Shh, don't tell anyone. But when it's something like egregious, you're like, David, like, I want to say something right here, but you shouldn't because then you get cut off at the knees. Do you know what I'm saying? So, at some point, by the way, when they're filming next season and Shannon is there, someone is going to say to Shannon, you need to stop talking to Vicki Gunvalson. Now, I don't know who listens to her podcast. I'm not being rude. I'm trying to be very calm and very like zen in the new year, not have any rants. It's an actual real question. Maybe you all do, and that's great. I support this. But at some point, I think some producer, somebody's going to say to Shannon, you need to shut the fuck up and stop talking to your friend Vicky. Because if she's revealing this on her social media and on her podcast, you got to cut that off, girl, or you're in trouble. And Shannon is not going to sacrifice her job. So like, just because you hear things, Vicky, you shouldn't repeat them on your podcast because I could do that, and then you get cut off. You want to know it all, so you could reveal some stuff. It's really a win-win to the audience if you just don't reveal the really secretive stuff. Because guess what, guys, it comes out eventually. Like you don't need to hear it from me. You revealed some tidbits, right? So I don't know. Someone's going to tell her to stop speaking to Vicky. That's where my mind goes. And I mean, let's not forget Shannon cut off. She cut off these people. She cut off Vicki and Tamra when she was on the show, and they weren't. So they are going to reconcile, and Vicki is probably going to be left out in the cold. Before we wrap up, the only other thing I want to focus on is Dorit is just, first of all, Dorit posted a picture from the Chelsea Hotel. People ask me where to go all the time in LA and New York. And, like when someone asks you, you're always like, oh, let me think. Okay, go here, go here. Then when you hear a place, you're like, the Chelsea Hotel in New York City, amazing. Okay, amazing. Go there. It's a landmark. The bar there is great. It makes one of the best martinis in